Vicious racist and misogynist boss is embarrassed in front of peers. I worked for a boss, let's call him Bitchard, who was a pathetic human. Cruelty was fun for him. He especially hated women, LGBTQ people, and those of a different race than himself. During COVID, I was the only person who would show up to the office on a regular basis. Everyone else was 100% work from home. I started this story of revenge by intentionally wasting the time of the Medicare scammers who were calling the office routinely each day. I was alone all day, every day, so why not? I was talking to real human scammers, not just automated voice recognition software, so I convinced them they were talking to a 67-year-old person. They began calling constantly, all day, every day. When I was bored of the prank, I would just set the office line to forward to another phone and made a call forwarding loop. The scammers had no idea the call would ring endlessly in a loop, and I could monitor for real calls on caller ID. This went on for years until COVID restrictions lifted. Once people were back in office, I had to stop pretending to be an old person. A few facts about our boss Bitchard. 1. He had a deep insecurity and would do anything to avoid being embarrassed. 2. He was technologically illiterate. He doesn't know how his phone works but will not admit it because that would be embarrassing. 3. He was hard of hearing but would not admit it because that would be embarrassing. Now, the revenge on Bitchard. He was all set to attend a national conference with all of his peers. He was so excited leading up to the event because this is basically a week-long session of pompous people patting one another on the back and telling themselves they are the masters of the universe. Don't forget the group circle jerk after hours, it goes till question marks. This is exactly the kind of attention he craves. Even more so because this was the first chance he had to be around his peers since COVID. So I decided to make sure Bitchard was the center of attention all right. Those of us peons who were not that important were made to stay back at the office and watch the national conference on a Zoom video feed. During the opening ceremonies, while the plenary speaker was on stage, I used the knowledge I had gained how to forward our office phones, and I forwarded all lines to his cell phone. Now, most people this would not be a problem because most people silence their phone during important meetings. But not Bitchard. He may be hard of hearing, but he is so important that he keeps his phone on full volume all the time, no matter what. Or, he doesn't know how the volume button works. Either is plausible. His cell phone started ringing non-stop, full volume. This went on uncomfortably long. They had to stop the plenary speaker mid-speech, and someone had to go to his table and assist him with turning his cell phone volume down. But the calls just kept coming. The best part was he was in view of the camera feed on Zoom so I could see his face. He looked like he wanted to melt into the ground. I left the phone lines forwarded to his phone the rest of the week. He acts like a meth head in withdrawal if he goes too long without checking LinkedIn. But apparently the calls from the Medicare scammers were so constant that he couldn't take his phone with him to the after-hours circle jerks. I guess he figured out how the volume button works after all because the ringer was back up to full blast. Also, it was really hard for him to sleep at night with the phone ringing constantly. I know all this extra detail because he raged about it constantly for months afterwards. This whole thing really bothered Bitchard, but the thing that got to him the most was the embarrassment in front of his peers. Cue the sound of the world's smallest violin.